What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update, fourth stimulus check update, and related news. A lot going on today. The IRS and the Treasury Department has said that they have delivered millions of stimulus checks and stimulus direct deposits today. I got the latest information on that, who didn't get checks, the latest information that we have on that, as well as more information on the next stimulus package and already some things that they want to put in that next package. I'm going to give you all the details in this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. Hit the like button for us down below, and let's jump right in. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and also Federal Reserve Chairman have said repeatedly over the last 2 days, as they have been testifying before Congress, that the U.S. has a space to spend more money despite rising debt. And also, they praised the third stimulus check package, but warned that more needs to be done, already hinting at the next stimulus package known as the infrastructure package that will likely build millions of jobs. And we already have dozens of Democratic lawmakers already rallying for not just one stimulus check in the next package, but multiple monthly reoccurring stimulus checks in the next package. And we actually got some surprising information on who supports this next stimulus package. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen expressed confidence today on Wednesday that the U.S. has enough fiscal space to cover trillions of dollars more in spending on investments in the U.S. economy, but has said that the federal government would eventually need to pare down the mounting debt. In a testimony before a Senate panel, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said she believes the U.S. can afford to invest trillions of dollars in projects meant to boost productivity despite the national debt exceeding historic highs thanks to years of low borrowing costs. Janet Yellen was asked by Senator Richard Shelby, a Republican from Alabama, about her 2017 comments expressing qualms about the U.S. public debt to gross domestic product (GDP) ratio, while she was chair of the Federal Reserve Board. She said that the country's GDP to debt ratio of roughly 75% was a cause for concern. Though the U.S. GDP to debt ratio is now over 100%, Janet Yellen said Wednesday that years of downward pressure on interest rates have given the country more room to spend, and that also during a depression or a recession and a 100-year pandemic, that now is not really the time to quit spending. Most economists say that back in 2008 and 2009, when we had the housing recession, it took us 4 years to get out of that and get back to normal employment. And that was kind of the first round of the modern day stimulus packages, of which President Obama at the time spent around $900 billion. Economists say if they had learned that they could spend more to get us out of that recession or that depression faster, they likely could have shaved off an entire year or two from that recession, and doing that would have actually paid for itself, would have paid for the extra stimulus packages that they spent back then, or that they should have spent more back then. And they say if they had spent more stimulus back then in 2008, 2009, the economy actually would have recovered faster and paid for its stimulus debt, even though a lot of this is a lot of people don't really consider this debt because it goes to the American people, it goes to the businesses. There's no interest rate on it. It doesn't need to be paid back. Your stimulus checks do not get paid back. There's no interest rate on it. So in one sense of the word, it's debt, but in the other sense of the word, it's not debt, as it's not paid back and there's no interest rate on it. It's basically just a tax refund going back to taxpayers who have paid in for decades and now during a once in a 100-year pandemic are getting a little bit back to help them through the rough times. Janet Yellen says, my views on the amount of fiscal space from the United States, I would say, have changed somewhat since 2017. Interest payments on that debt relative to GDP have not gone up at all. And so I think there's a more meaningful metric on the burden of the debt on society and on federal finances. Janet Yellen's comments come as the Biden administration prepares to propose a roughly $3 trillion next stimulus package that we're calling the fourth stimulus package, and spending on infrastructure, green energy, climate resilience, and job training, likely financed in part by tax increases for corporate income, or a tax increase on companies from 21% to 28%. It was at 35% before President Donald Trump cut it all the way from 35% all the way down to 21%. President Biden, as part of his tax increases that he actually campaigned on well before they passed the first round of stimulus underneath President Biden, said he wants to raise corporate taxes from 21% to 28%. And as we said, it used to be 35%. This is well before they passed the first stimulus package under Biden. And remember, President Donald Trump passed 5 different stimulus packages, of which the first one alone, the CARES Act, was more money than the first stimulus package underneath President Biden. Biden also wants to raise taxes on high earning households and financial asset sales. This comes as we learn today of a surprising ally, or a person who is in favor of the fourth stimulus package, the infrastructure package. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who's long been a thorn in the side of Democrats, says that the Democrats should pay for the infrastructure package and raise corporate tax rates to actually pay for this package. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, a key centrist, says Democrats should pay for a planned $3 trillion stimulus package and are looking at repealing parts of the 2017 Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act to pay for it. Manchin says he could support a package as large as $3 trillion, the price tag on the proposal being floated by the White House, as long as it doesn't add substantially to the federal deficit. Quote, as long as it's paid for, we need this country to rebuild itself. We need to rebuild ourselves, and it has to be through infrastructure, he told reporters on Tuesday. In a follow-up interview on Today, Senator Joe Manchin clarified that he wants to pay for as much of President Biden's fourth stimulus package, the bold infrastructure package. He wants to pay for as much of it as possible and would be willing to raise the corporate tax rate to 25% to raise revenues. Quote, I think we should be paying for anything that adds to the debt. I really do. So I'm saying everything we possibly can. Asked where lawmakers will find $2 to $3 trillion to pay for the next stimulus package, Democratic leaders say the package needs to be big and bold. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says there are going to be tax adjustments. I understand that. He said Trump's 2017 Trump tax cut, tax reform laws were basically all weighted in one direction, to the upper end. I think there has to be some changes. I truly do. I think that the corporate tax rate should never have gone below 25%. That's $400 billion right there. And I'm not afraid to look at other things. In addition to dozens of Democratic lawmakers urging President Biden to include not just one stimulus check in the next package, as you can see here on the screen, but multiple monthly reoccurring stimulus checks and reoccurring unemployment weekly bonuses to continue until the economy gets better, to put these on what they call automatic triggers, so the stimulus checks and unemployment boost money will continue automatically until the economy recovers and the recession gets back to normal. They can tie this to several different economic details or economic indicators, such as the unemployment rate or other GDP numbers. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, and Senator Bernie Sanders say that one other thing they want to include in the next stimulus package, the infrastructure package, is a drug pricing measure for prescription drugs to lower the cost of prescription drugs for millions of Americans in need. Here is Senator Bernie Sanders on how to lower the prescription drug prices in the next stimulus package.
There is an interesting debate among the people of this country about which powerful special interest has the most clout on Capitol Hill. Some people think it may be Wall Street, and some people may think it's the military-industrial complex, and some people think it's the fossil fuel industry. I myself may be wrong, but I would give the nod to the pharmaceutical industry, an industry which charges the American people by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, and has managed to create a situation where they can raise their prices to any level they want any day of the week. So today, people are walking into a drugstore, walking into a pharmacy. Pharmacist is telling them, sorry, price of your medicine has substantially gone up. That's what the drug companies have done. Drug companies are an industry which year after year make huge profits, and they pay their CEOs incredibly large compensation packages. It is an industry which is significantly responsible for the fact that in the United States, we pay the highest prices in the world for healthcare, almost double what any other country pays. It is an industry which has an incredibly opaque pricing system, which pays one branch of government, which charges one branch of government a very different price than it charges another for the same drug. Same exact drug, Medicare will pay a price, Medicaid will pay a price, Veterans Administration will pay a price, community health centers will pay a different price, all for the same exact drug. And that's true for hospitals, for nursing homes, and for individuals. Very hard to know what they are charging anybody else. This is an industry that has paid $32 billion in fines for a variety of illegal actions over the last 20 years, including price fixing, overcharging the federal, state, and local governments for their products, bribery, collusion, fraud, and deception. And yet this is an industry which keeps going on its merry way, virtually untouchable year after year after year. Now, how did they get away with that? And it is not hard to understand. During the last 23 years, the drug companies have spent $7.6 billion on lobbyists, $7.6 billion over the last 23 years, including the former leadership of the Democratic and Republican parties. They have more than 1,500 lobbyists here in Washington. There are 435 members of the House and Senate. They have 1,500 lobbyists here in Washington, as well as lobbyists in virtually every state capital in this country. Since 1990, they have spent nearly $730 million on campaign contributions.
I think it's safe to say that taking on the prescription drug companies will be a tall task, but it is one thing that Senator Bernie Sanders and from the Senate, as well as House Leader and Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, want to do with the next stimulus package by reducing the prices that they are allowed to charge. Here is the latest update on the stimulus checks that were sent out today, or at least which ones were sent out today. The Treasury says today that they have issued 127 million relief payments under the Biden aid plan up until today. The Treasury Department says that they have disbursed 127 million economic relief payments worth $325 billion authorized by the massive COVID-19 bill signed by President Biden earlier this month. The department announced Wednesday, today, that a second batch of direct deposits, checks, and prepaid debit cards that have begun to arrive this week includes roughly 37 million payments totaling $83 billion. Roughly 17 million of those payments, or $38 billion, were sent through direct deposits, and 15 million were sent via check, and 5 million were sent via debit card today. So that means that they sent out 20 million combined checks and debit cards today going to you guys. So even if you're expecting a direct deposit, please be checking your mail every single day because they literally sent out 20 million of them today and will likely be hitting your mailbox at your house within the next few days. 20 million were sent just today alone. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, getting stimulus checks and debit cards in the snail mail in your mailbox, likely here within the next week. So again, they sent out 37 million payments today, 17 million payments were through direct deposits, 15 million via check in the mail, and 5 million via debit card. The Treasury Department has already disbursed 90 million payments in the first batch that went out on March 12th, the day after Biden signed the $1.9 trillion measure. The department, however, has no further information about the recipients of Social Security retirement and disability benefits, veteran benefits, and federal railroad pensions would receive their payments if they have not already got them. Treasury reiterated that it is working with several federal agencies to obtain 2021 income information for recipients. Those waiting for their payments can get the Get My Payment tool on the irs.gov to see the status of their funds. So that is the latest information we have directly from the Treasury. 37 million payments were sent out today. 17 million via direct deposit and 20 million going out via paper check and debit card. So I've seen a lot of your comments. It looks like about 90% of people that were expecting a deposit and are on Social Security did not receive it today. It looks like about 5 or 10% of you guys did receive your direct deposit today. The Treasury Department says that a lot more people are going to get stimulus checks and debit cards in the mail that are not expecting to get them in the mail. Instead of direct deposit, they're going to be sent through the snail mail. So please watch your mail. I will keep you up to date on more information. I'll have another update for you guys tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 8 p.m. West Coast time. So don't miss out on that episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates on the third stimulus check package, as well as the fourth stimulus check package coming out in the near future. I'll keep you up to date on everything. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I've had dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. And me and my wife have a product business selling products on Amazon as well. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.